Welcome to Natural Habitat Adventures, Daily Dose of Nature. Today's topic, Nepal and Bhutan, Jungle Wildlife and Cultural Treasures, presented by NatHab Expedition Leader, Arpita Dutta. I'm your host, Rob Mess. Thank you all so much for joining us here today. Over to you, Arpita.
Thank you so much, Rob, and thank you everyone for tuning in today. As Rob has mentioned that it's a holiday time, but it's so good to see you all here. And it's been always a pleasure to share the experience we go through during our trips. And this trip is so special that sometimes I become very, blank while saying things because I'm physically I'm here talking, but my soul reaches to those places. It's very difficult for me to bring them back from there. But anyhow, so with Nepal especially, because I am from the eastern region as well, from India's eastern region, and though for my ethnicity and all, people look little different, but I am more close, like looking to the people who are in Nepal, especially with the lower Terai land, with the small eyes, small nose stuff. So from the very beginning of my life, I've been hearing that, hey, do you have any connection with Nepal? Are you from Nepal? So I have been like keep on answering that no, I'm not, but I would love to to be from a different country. And the time I could reach there in 2016, and it was so surprising that the flight attendants and the people out there started talking to me in Nepali, thinking that I'm one of them. And that brings me more close to the country. Hello? Yeah, that brings me more close to the country that, yeah, so it's very sure that something is there to do with Nepal. And for over the years, I not only have been there, but have grown a lot of emotional connection with that land. So let's talk about that part of the land and the adjacent one. So when we do the trip, first we go to Kathmandu. From Kathmandu we go to Chitwan National Park, and then from there we come back to Kathmandu and fly to Paro, which is in Bhutan. And after finishing the Bhutan, then from there the flight goes to Bangkok, and from there you leave for your places. And not many flights in between, only from Kathmandu to Chitwan we take a very short flight of 20 minutes to reach that area called Bharatpur, a very small airport. So that is the only thing, and by vehicles we go to nearby places. That's it. So there is not much tenacious, or it's not very hectic traveling when you sign up for Nepal and Bhutan trip. It's very easy. So Nepal, we know it's a landlocked country between Tibet and India. And of course, it is well known for its impressive Himalayan range and the valleys, that shape the country's landscape. It's so beautiful. And of course, before even the wildlife part have been highlighted to the world, people are coming for mountaineering in Nepal. And that tourism has been started in Nepal for like long years back. So this is how the valleys and everything looks like. Like you have beautiful mountain at the back, you have like slopes, and you just have an amazing view throughout your entire travel. And when we talk about Nepal, we cannot escape, or we cannot skip the part of their ethnicity and the people of Nepal. Nepalese culture is deeply steeped in tradition and religion, and they are very proud that their country has never been colonized of course, and that's that pride you can see in their faces. And they're very strong people at the same time, and friendly too. And the people understand the worth and the beauty of their country. No matter how many, I mean, if you come across the people, you talk to them, anything related to the country oriented questions and all, the way they answer, you can feel, you will be able to feel the enthusiasm they have and the pride they have for their own land. And their culture, the culture is enigmatic, with many religious customs, ritual, festival, procession, and local uh, like beliefs. And apart like from, and they're the people out there you would see, especially the young generation, when you see, they are so colorful, my God. I mean, waking up in the morning, they're out for a walk. If you see on the road, you will see them like they're well dressed, like well done hair. In the morning, I look nothing less than a witch, how my hairs and my like all everything looks like, but they look so perfect. And that's a very pretty thing to look at, because you feel good when there are people around you who are happy, and they show a very positive attitude towards it. So that makes it very different for that. But apart from like Kathmandu, because it's a valley and there are so many mountains, they have very different cultural, and the communication and everything is little apart, because it's very difficult, to bring everything together at the same place. And with Nepal, the first thing is which comes is the their culture and heritage, what they are holding. It's the architecture. Wherever you go out, whenever, especially when you are in Kathmandu, the Nepalese architecture is a like status for them, that brings a part of the country's cultural heritage. And they have amazing craftsmanship and chiseling skills. So what you will see here, over here, see the copper ones, so intricate work have been happened. And here are the wooden structures, though many of them got rebuilt after the earthquake. But every I mean, a lot of places where you cannot take pictures, but whenever you go through, you have to stand and appreciate the beauty, and which have been done like hundreds of years before. Their architecture is so special, and their pagoda style buildings, the Thangka paintings, and people, and over here they say that the Thangka artists, I mean, who are the masters, they cannot do the painting more than, when they are 35, 40 years maximum. After that, they cannot do, because these are so minute. You can see over here, there's a magnifying glass is kept, because you have to look through it to see every detailing, and it takes years, sometimes like months or years to finish it. And there are like thankas are made out of metals, like metal colors, or the gold or silver metals out there. So the painting is very precious, rather. I mean, when you see it, you believe it, that how these things have been done, and all the religious features have been portrayed out there. And with everything, the Nepal culture and heritage, and there's a mixture of the Indo Burma culture, who are like, or the Tibetan culture, which is more like the Buddhism people do follow. And then you have the Indian culture go through, where they follow the Hindu religion, but mostly you will find Hindu religion out there in Nepal. So with that, when you are there, we do a small city tour, which is in Bhaktapur Darbar Square, and all the architectures and things you would see from the 14th century. And as I mentioned, that each and every temple, each and every architecture, or the chiseling sculpture has their own story and a religious belief behind that. And those things, when you understand, you really get to see the reflect of those in the people who are there in Nepal, their attitude towards life, their jolliness. But though Nepal, there have been tourists, or tourism has been an old culture over there, people got influenced with the other countries' culture as well. So you will see a mix of thing out there. And their festivals, this time we were very lucky that we were there when it was a Nepalese New Year. And during the New Year, the festival or that place looks stunning because they do a lot of draping of colorful clothes, and they wear kind of a similar kind of dresses. And there are music, drums, people are smiling, gifting each other things. It's a beautiful vibe which you feel around, and especially when the music comes and you just cross by, your feet and your like mind or your shoulder starts, you know, nodding, like, yeah, you get with the vibe of the rhythm. And then comes to the Nepali cuisine. But the staple food, because of the Terai land, they grow a lot of rice and corn. So the primary or the staple food is the rice and lentil. They use a lot of thing with lentil. That's mostly in the Terai region. Lentil is the main source of protein, and they add on some meat to it. And there are like different culture, ethnic culture, more than 200 ethnicities are there, and they have different way of preparing food. And if you get to taste, you will get to taste quite a few of them, and they are delicious and very nutritional food. As long as you stay in Nepal, you're going to really have a great time. And I always say that all the trips which happens with NHA, it's not only the jungle safari, or it's not only the cultural part, but you also have a food safari along the trip. So here, and with WWF been working in Nepal for now, it's been 30 years. And it's been wonderful that how things have like changed, or they have been like promoting so much of community development through to protect the wildlife. And it's been the 8 years for which there have been like no poaching has happened, and like another 365 days of no poaching, which is an amazing thing, where there we have so much demand for the rhino horn and stuff. And the number has increased to 752 rhinos for Nepal, and that's really growing. That's really growing great, I would say. And their main focus on the flagship species, which is the tiger and the rhino, and the protection of the environment and the forest, which is there in Nepal. So for that, they have started to engage the community themselves to protect their own land, and that, and with the Nepal government, of course, and that brought a huge change. I mean, they understood that belonging, you know, that they belong to this land, or these animals belong to them. It's their responsibility. And somehow they have been managing this community forest and the development for in such a way that we can take I mean, this has become a big example to the other conservation project which is happening around the world, that engaging the community and giving them the responsibility of you know, protecting them, not the people who are coming from outside and doing it, but the funding. And of course, this is like WWF is doing an amazing work with NPCA, which is a local NGO, but it's a part of the government body as well, who have been like working tremendously, even for the gharial projects. Gharial is another critically endangered crocodile, which I'll show you later. So these are the beautiful, magnificent thing which they have been doing. And now Nepal has more community forest than, community forest land than the national park areas. So you can imagine how the development has increased in last 30 years and how people have engaged themselves into it. So with Nepal, we definitely look forward to Chitwan National Park. And the best part about Nepal Bhutan trip is, one, you feel the cultural heritage of Nepal, because it's the kingdom, the king, and there's all architectures, so you get the feel of it. And then it is like so much of wildlife out there. Like you just completely get into the vehicle, you go like in 3 days, you just go through the entire forest, and it's amazing how you see the forest that time. And Chitwan National Park is the first national park established in 1973 in first national park of Nepal. So here, a little bit of part of it is the south central part of Nepal. Here it is, and this green part, what you see is the core area of the national park, and the yellow with the yellow, the yellow line, what you see here is the buffer zone, which is like the community forest. So the buffer zone is the space between the human habitat area and the national park area, and there people cannot stay, or we cannot have anything out here. So it's just a border in between. And this national park is like mostly covered with the sal forest. It has a mixed vegetation, and more than 20% of the grassland, of course the rhino land, and it has the riverine forest near about 7% and a mixed forest of 3%, which makes the forest look very, very thick. Even if you go in summer, there would be places where it will be dark like this, and you will see the sun rays are falling through it because of the thickness of the forest. It's so difficult sometimes, that even if a rhino or an elephant is there, it's so difficult to see them because it's like a maze out there. And Chitwan has like 3 rivers, which the animals and the people out there are thriving. The source of water, fresh water, which is the Narayani River. This is a snow-fed river, and it's a perennial one. And then we have Rapti over here and Riu. These are rain-fed, seasonal. And over here where I have written Rapti, out here we have our lodge where we stay in Chitwan. And this side is your the national park area. You can see these are all the core areas out here, and we have the mountains out here. But Chitwan was not like this before. How we see them right now, or when you go there, the development or the greenery or the abundance of animals and birds, what you see right now, because Chitwan was a gaming forest. People used to come over here to do to hunt, and it was declared as a hunting reserve for for the runners. Runners are like the kings and their friends or their guests. They used to do like mass hunting, maybe for 1 or 1.5 months. It keeps continuing, and you can see the result, that how it goes. But once King Mahindra, who established Chitwan National Park as a reserve, like a protected forest, because there was a time when people went there to hunt, but they could not find any because there were no more animals left. And that incident triggered that this place has to be protected because of the magnificent fauna and flora which was residing there in Chitwan. Those things need to come back, and definitely nature's take its own call. So in 1973, it got established, and after that, there were like no hunting had been done out here. And of course, and when you go in Chitwan right now, you can see the result, that how it has become. And when we go to Chitwan, of course, our showstopper is the greater one-horn rhino. and you will definitely get to see them. Of course, I mean, I cannot say definitely though, but there are 99% chance that you get to see a rhino. And it's beautiful grassland when you see them grazing or walking or sometimes like staring at you. It feels amazing. That's a huge animal in front of you. Sometimes you see them quite far. This is from this year trip. Just like that, you get to see them. It was holding, it came out from the water and was waiting there for some time, got everyone, gave everyone chances to click pictures, and then it went by. But again, it can be this close, imagine. And this time there were another rhino and they were like fighting between each other. So imagine that fight, that grunting sound, everything was happening right in front of you. And though it looks very scary, but as long as you are still calm and quiet, they are fine with their and we definitely, it was suddenly it came that close, but we definitely keep a safe distance, and we are very carefully, we take any steps we to just first to maintain the safety, of course. And uh, of course there are tigers, but it is really difficult to spot a tiger in Chitwan because of the habitat. As I mentioned, that it is so thick, even the grass which is there are called the elephant grass. That means they're so tall that it can hide one elephant behind it. So imagine to see a tiger, it becomes very difficult. But of course, its presence, you will get to feel the presence almost every day. You see pug marks, you see scat, the alarm calls, uh, and you feel the presence of the big cat. And with the big cat, you get to see leopard as well, and mostly like this in between the vegetation, and they are so well camouflaged that sometimes I mean, there are chances that we miss, but fortunately till date we haven't missed one if they were, because I think when we are in the same vehicle, all the eyes are all the eyes come together to look for the animals, and you know the habitat and what, so that gives you more, you know, the special power to find one. And even if you see the tiger is mostly behind the bush, it's very rare time it happened that it come out on the road and you get to see it completely. And they're very shy, they don't come out much. There are a few bold tigers, of course, but most of them like prefer to remain inside because it's very difficult even to hunt for the tigers in those thick bushes. And when the cats are there, of course, there is a good prey base as well. There is spotted deer, barking deer, hog deer, and sambar as well. And you would see them quite often, and especially this hog deer, I say that they are like the dolphins in the grassland, because the way they leap or the way they duck down and get inside the grassland, they look like a dolphin on the land. And here is the gharial I was talking about. This is another critically endangered species and only found in Nepal and India. That is also in very specific areas. And their population is still declining. But both the countries are working on their projects to bring the population back in the wild. Because they are very susceptible to pollution, and of course because of climate change, the change of the river courses, there are a lot of other factors which are you know, affecting their population, their growth in population. And the main features being like a crocodile, how we see them, I mean caiman, crocs, alligators, their features are almost same, but this is very unique that they have a longer snout because they are master in fish, catching fish. So that's how they are different from the rest of the crocodilian family. And here we get to see the freshwater crocodile as well, or we call them mugger. That's mostly, they are very good to spot during winter. because they come out for basking and they stay outside for a longer period of time. But in summer, it's become so hot that mostly they prefer to be in water. And then Chitwan has amazing bird life. Almost during the migration period, near about 750 species of birds you get to see in that forest. How outstanding that is! I mean, if you love birding, imagine how much your list is going to go up, because everywhere you at least you get to see them and then you get to hear them. That's incredible. So much of color and so much of calls that makes that forest, because of the mixed vegetation and different areas with different elevation. I think the gathering of all these birds, especially during migration, it's beautiful out there. And when you are in Chitwan, if you get to see the great hornbill, I think that's a bonus for the trip, because that's huge bird. When they call, they're honking like sound in the forest, and when they fly over you, the sound of their wings, I think that's like a fresh breath, or the fresh thoughts in your mind that you can bring up to. They are beautiful. They are beautiful. And if you get to see them during their courtship time, it's incredible to watch. You can gaze at this bird for like hours. And when as I was telling, that there are so many ethnic people, there are many tribes who are residing in Nepal. One of the tribe you will get to meet is Tharu. The name of the tribe is Tharu, in Chitwan National Park. And also you get a chance to visit their village, and see how they live, how their houses are built with, how do they survive, how do they do their agriculture. And it's amazing to see them. And they are still maintaining those ethnic way of living, no matter how like how much the other cities and all are developing, but they maintain their old process and stuff. So it's incredible to be there as well. And with this, I would say that Nepal, though it is very difficult to conclude everything in a short time, but this is just I'm touching the tip of the thing. When you are into the trip, you definitely get to hear and see a lot more. Imagine, whenever I'm talking, I'm just showing you little, just not even 1% of the animal species you get to see in this park. But imagine how much is waiting for you, how much there to make you feel enthusiastic and say, oh gosh, there should be another few days in Chitwan. I mean, you feel, I mean, every time it happens and you start feeling like that. And no matter, for me, I can just live for years out there. And yes, so being with this spatial tribe, with all these animals, all the vehicle safari, the boat safari, a little bit of walking safaris as well. And here we wind up from Nepal and we straight back to Kathmandu, do the city tour, and then we fly to Bhutan. And as soon as you land in Bhutan, it's like it welcomes you right at the moment. Look at the airport. I mean, it doesn't even look like an airport. It's one of the beautiful airport I have come across, and I'm sure that all of you who has traveled throughout the world, this airport looks so unique and so different. That will definitely one of the highlights of Bhutan. And when we talk about Bhutan, it's a very special country. It doesn't matter. I mean, like Nepal, it has a lot of influences, and you see a lot of people with different dress, hairstyles, their way of living. But in Bhutan, it's like an intact way of holding their culture and heritage. You know, their distinct world-class architecture. No matter wherever you look, you turn around and you see some architecture which is done with different colors of wood, like sculptures, their windows, their shades. Everything has so much specific thing to look for. And then of course the happy contented people, uh, which is Nepal's first thing, that the happiness of the people, it matters a lot. And the national identity and the culture, the carbon neutral, there are like no traffic lights. Do you know that Bhutan, like Thimphu, where we go ahead, that's the capital city. There is no traffic light, and this is the only capital in the world which has no traffic lights. It's only the traffic polices are there who controls the traffic. So you have no fear to get stuck in the traffic when you are in Bhutan. And it has very low crime as well. I mean, there are no, you know, it's like small crimes happen, but there is no rampage or you know, that's war kind, or any big stuff happens in Nepal. Sorry, in Bhutan. And of course, the young democracy has a lot more thing to do. In 2008, it has changed from the complete monarchical thing to the parliamentary government, but things never changed. I mean, people still believe, has the belief for their king and queen, and of course the prime minister. They all come together to make sure that all the people out in Bhutan are happy. And the government policy for the tourist, so they prefer like high value with low, with low impact for the tourism. So that's why you always have a guided tour in Bhutan. You cannot step in Bhutan without a local guide. So that will remain always with you, so that you don't have to fear about being in Bhutan. And at the same time, they will always guide you what to do or not to do. And the last, and it is also the last country to introduce television and internet. And of course, the Bhutanese cuisine and local flavors. This is just a short thing, but when you go from the airport to Thimphu, the airport is in Paro, and from there you drive to Thimphu or wherever you go in Bhutan, you will find, first of all, there are less traffic, and at the same time, the landscape is outstanding. I mean, every moment or every place is like, you know, a picture's queue. And as we all know that Bhutan's became the world's first carbon negative country. And I think that has so much thing to do with the beliefs they follow. And it has been mandate by the constitution, like constitution mandate that 60% of the land should be covered by forest. And now it is 70% of the land. So imagine, the kingdom is undoubtedly one of the greatest countries in the world, I believe. It absorbs more greenhouse gases than it emits, and that makes it so special. I mean, you land in Bhutan and you start breathing, you feel energized because you get so much of fresh air, oxygen, and the vibe. It's so beautiful. And when we have like when we are in Bhutan, you know that the people out there is so friendly. They have good sense of humor, and they are always helpful. And the hospitality, when we talk about hospitality, I think Nepal, Bhutan, they are incredible in it. It's not only by, you know, by that it's a tourism area and all this. Even when they visit each other's place, they give the same respect and the same hospitality to their friends and family as well. So it's like it's their in their blood, and you would feel it. It's not what you see, but you feel at the same time. And when you meet especially Sam, who drives us safely through the bendings of the roads, and he's amazing. And this is Dorji, our local guide. Rather, he's like our, the captain of the ship. So he steer everything so nicely so that we have a comfortable stay and we get to reach out to places and we understand Bhutan more in the way with a person who belongs from there. So we get to hear a lot of stories from Dorji, and look at his amazing smile, and he is always smiling. I mean, I have never seen him with a grumpy face, or his like lips are not curved. So it's amazing to have a companion like him, like him and Sam with us. And as a Bhutan's happiness is, it's like the Bhutan's gross national happiness is dependent on the people out there. So the first and foremost reason for the uniqueness of Bhutan is that happy people living in Bhutan, I believe, and that makes it so different. And another thing which is a highlight, they don't have a religious, like strict religious or biased, uh, living. I think that makes it more unique from the rest of the Asian countries. And so the concept of happiness in the kingdom is very much derived from the contentment that Bhutanese people feel about their lives, which is simplicity and compassion. And you would see them in everyone. And their believe in their nationalism. You know what, even in this time period where everything, in this time period of globalization, still they maintains their traditional attire, or the costume, which is Gho, the man who is wearing this, and this is called Kira, this dress. And you will see them, people are walking or coming out or going to all the zongs and places, they are wearing their traditional attire. So I think that holds a lot of value of the people, that how they feel about their country and their wisdom. Of course, this is very holistic. And with that, they are amazing with their architecture, culture, and the heritage they are having. And of course, like Bhutan traditional culture is alive in its performing arts and in different ways, and they still practice the same which they have done hundreds of years ago. So nothing has changed. They have hold on to all this thing, and there are government affiliated art schools, and students are working there and studying there even for 7-8 years and more than that. I mean, this is like you get graduated after 5 to 7 years, so it takes that long, and people are dedicated. I mean, the students are dedicated to it, to continue for 7-8 years just to graduate from those art schools. And when you visit there, you would see that how from zero to a masterpiece they create. And this is, and of course the traditional weaving and the sculpture of these things, it is very unique. And their paintings, it's very unique from the rest. And with that, of course, when you step in Bhutan, you get to see a lot of stupas, prayer flags, statues, prayer wheel. I would say that it's not only the cultural thing what you see when you get in. It's like you feel that divine peacefulness in your mind and soul within. I mean, even if you are not feeling well or you're feeling agitated, somehow the environment, the vibe, the weather of that country lift you like high spiritually. And the essence of life, what you see out there, it really influence you. I mean, it's no matter, it says, and it's been told in a lot of articles that people find, I mean, the tourists find Bhutan one of the best country in the world because of that because how people make you believe, or the places make you believe to understand yourself. It's like, you know, finding yourself, the true spirit of you, that why you are there. And it's nothing religious, but the feel of being you becomes so important. And that's the best part about being in Bhutan. And with that, they have traditional dance, and it's not very easy to see especially this chunga the dance out here, because these are like when some festivals is going on, we get to see them. The people are dancing with beautiful clothes and with mask. And you know, this traditional dance has a lot of meaning to say, because Bhutan is a country, as I mentioned, that they are the last country to introduce television and internet. So in 1999 only, Bhutan got its television. And before that, this cultural or traditional dance or dramas were the only source to share information about the land, people, culture, wildlife, all these places. So that this tradition, this dancing they perform during harvesting, during any marriage ceremony, or like for any festival, they do. Suppose this year, this one was we went for orchid you know, festival in Bhutan, and there in this orchid festival they have performed this dance. So this has so much to do with their culture, this mask dance and thing. And with their tradition, culture, and everything, Bhutan cuisine is also, though it is very much influenced by the other countries, adjacent countries they have, but the main source is again the rice, buckwheat, maize, and of course they eat a lot of meat. So dried beef, pork, chicken, lamb, yak meat, or they get yak cheese as well. They are very hard, but when they have to travel a lot and they do walking, they keep on, you know, chewing those yak cheese. That's a good source of protein, and it keeps them going, just like the candies. And Bhutan is known for its chili production, almost like 12,500 tons of chilies. But even after that, they import chilies from from other countries, because they love spices. And their national dish, which is this one, is called emadatsi, which is mean chili cheese. It's made out of chilies and cheese. One of my most favorite one, though whenever I have it, especially when it is made traditionally, I keep like crying or coughing because it's so hot. But the taste, it's outstanding, so I cannot just escape or just cannot skip it whenever I'm in Bhutan. You can try as well. If you want to try, you just need to know, tell the hotel person that you just need to try. They would lower down the hotness of the dish, and you can just try it. That how does it feel? How does it taste? So with that, and of course, Bhutan itself is a country who has a lot of you know, importance for their wildlife and nature. And but WWF is partnered with Bhutan government since 1977, and have been working on most like sustainable livelihood, protection of the terrestrial and the freshwater ecosystem, and education awareness, human wildlife conflict, illegal trade, and climate change. So they come together, and they have been working in this for a pretty long time. And of course, Bhutan's belief, their mythological belief about the animals. They have like the four main mythical animal, and tiger is the only one which is living right now. So the other one are the one is of course the very prominent for where the name came, Druk is the dragon. And then the snow lion, Garuda is another one, which is like a bird shaped lion. And of course the tiger is there. So their beliefs come from their mythology, and which is very much close to the religion, and that's how they come together. And Takin, we visit Takin Wildlife Sanctuary. Takin is their national animal. It looks very weird, but when you see them in up close, it's a wonderful feeling to look at this animal, which is so unique to look at. And then we start actually our Bhutan trip to these three areas, which is Thimphu, Paro, and Punakha. And these are the places where we go to a lot of monasteries, we do hikes, and of course we get to see the beautiful view and the place Bhutan. So you would get, and this is one of the highest highest area, which is the Dochula Pass, and it is near about like 3,100-meter high, and you get a beautiful panoramic view of the snow-laden giant Himalayas if the sky is clear, but it looks stunning. And this was built, there are 108 those chotans are there, which has been built by the queen in the memory of the soldiers who perished during the battle against Assamese insurgents in 2003. So in that way, it is pretty new. And then we start our hiking in Punakha. And the first where we go is the Chini Langkyang stupa, or the monastery. So here, this is the temple of the madman, the divine madman. So he is a saint who came from Tibet to share his thoughts and teachings of Buddhism in Bhutan, and he could captivate the demon, and in his powerful hold the power, and he could captivate the demon into his penis, and then it fell off. So that's why they also call it's a fertility temple. So a lot of people believe that if they are married, they come here and they pray, they give offerings to divine madman to conceive. This is a wonderful story. You be there, and it's a small hike. Depending on your physical fitness, it's just 35 to 45 minutes of hike, and then you move around there and you just come down. But the hike is beautiful. You get to see a lot of things around, and once you reach out there, you get to see a huge prayer wheel, and then you go inside. We are not allowed to take pictures inside the monastery, so that's why. But it's beautiful, and there is a banyan tree in between, and there is a circle like where you can sit. So after you do the hike, if you sit under that banyan tree, it makes you feel so good. Trust me. I mean, once you be there, then you definitely feel that strength what you have come across. So we start from a very short hike, so that at the end we could do Takstan with much ease. And while going to this Chemi Langkyang monastery, we cross through beautiful paddy fields, and the view is like this. So this is the time of the year. This is in April, so we see a lot of brown around, and after the monsoon to the winter, it's beautiful, and you see some snow-cladded mountains out there as well. And after that, in Punakha, for the second day, we visit the Khamsum Valley Namgyal Chotan. So here, this has been built by this is also built by the Queen of Bhutan in 2004, and it was built to ward off evil spirit in Bhutan and across the world, to bring peace and harmony to all living things. I mean, imagine the thought of being there. So when they constructed it, it had so many good vibes and thoughts that definitely when you go there, you feel the same. And so there is a meaning of this Kamsum. And in Buddhist religion, in Buddhist saying, there are like three things in the world if we can get rid of, or if we can make ourselves come out of it, that's you when you get really you know, the presence, or you get enlightened about. It's the first thing is the conqueror of the three world, which is kama, which is a pleasure, and the rupa dhatu. Don't have to remember the name. Is the material world, mainly the kama, the material world, and the world of formless spirits. Formless spirits here is the greed, you know, that's and lot of evil thoughts. Those are like the formless spirits. So if we can get rid of those, if we can have if we can control, or if we can forget our greed about the materialistic thing, and the physical you know, demand of the thing, just the physical demand of the thing, these are the three things. If we can get rid of, we really get into a different world, and that's what they believe. And this feeling you get to hear. One more thing, in for this for last few like visits, what I have to like, I would like to mention here, one thing is whenever we are getting inside these monasteries or stupas or zong, we have to remove our shoes, because we are not allowed to get inside with shoes. So just keep in mind, because if you feel difficulties, you may stay outside. This is as beautiful as it's inside, and inside there is the photography is not allowed. So here we do our next like hike, which is around 1500-meter high. So another 2 hours of hike it is. Slowly we have enough time, so you can go with your own pace, no hurry, no rush. You stop, you look at the sceneries outside, and we go through a forest land. So it has all like shades most of the time, and the path is not as difficult when you think that 1500-meter climb would be very difficult. But with your own pace and time, it's very, very beautiful and very easy to move. But always carry your water like water bottle, and refill whenever you are getting a chance. Keep yourself hydrated, that is very important. And this is how the path looks like. These are the like small steps are there, and sometimes it is like just a small inclinations are there, and from the top you get a wonderful view. And especially in winter, you see all the snow peaks out here, and we have to cross a bridge like this. It's sometimes when it is very windy, it gives you a little it's a funny time to cross it, but it's definitely a beautiful one. And with that, we come down to, and we get inside one of the beautiful zong of Bhutan, which is the Punakha zong. And even it is so beautiful that the king and queen got married in this zong itself. And definitely the picture cannot do the justice, but it's beautiful. It just make you feel happy and so calm. And over here, the national sports, and while on our like going this hikes or to visit places, in between we will find that people are practicing archery, because as their national sports, and they cover a distance near about 145 to 150 meter. Can you imagine that they do the archery and people could see that spot back far, and which is this small, and that is incredible. But with that, it's not only them, but we also get to try our hands on archeries and throwing knives. And that's really interesting, because sometimes the arrow goes here and there, and we do good running session that time, because we have to bring back the arrows. But it's really, really fun to to try it out. And with that, our last hike, which is above moderate, and we have to reach almost 10,000 feet, which is like 3,120 meters height we have to go. But it's worth it's worth going there. And here also the same thing, we have the whole day to climb up. For the locals, it takes three hours to climb, but you have 5 to 6 hours to climb up and come down. And again, no rush, no hurry, and you get the breathtaking view while you are climbing up. And you have amazing bird life. You have butterflies, beautiful wild flowers, and lot of different people who come, even the locals who go up there to give offering to Guru Rinpoche, who is the first, who came here and start his meditation and introduce Buddhism in Bhutan. So it's a beautiful hike and beautiful sight. And of course, you can slowly keep coming with the rest of the people who are climbing along with you, but there is no crowd, no rush. So definitely it's worth going there. And look at this beautiful path you actually move. Here it is the Taksan. We have already like moved a little bit ahead, and then you see Taksan here. So imagine the climb out here, and then this is from the middle, from the half of the path when Taksan is still here, hiding behind the clouds. And imagine how it's like you feel that you are actually moving through the clouds, through the forest to reach that white building, which is a craft, like the way it has crafted. It's so beautiful. And this is the on the way. When you feel tired, you just sit down, you make the stupas out of stones and all these prayer flags. And even if you can like tie prayer flags, so even while going, there are small activities you can keep doing to take some break, to feel that your presence in that area. I think that makes it more special. And of course, once you reach there, we have been till here, but there is another few hundreds steps are there to go down and again climb up. But from here it gets a very beautiful view, and you can see everybody after even that climb, everyone is smiling. And I think that's the best part, being the expedition leader, that when you see everyone happy, including myself and of course the other expedition leaders. I mean, that's the best part, that you share. You could break this that's the mindset that, oh gosh, this is so tough. But trust me, when you start doing it, when you reach that height and when you see it, you actually feel amazing that you could conquer your own thoughts, that it would be very difficult and I won't be able to do it. So that will seem like a myth to you. And of course, after this whole trip, from the wildlife, so from like enjoying the wildlife in Chitwan and enjoying the amazing Bhutan, and give you a free like space to believe a lot of things, to get influenced or to believe a lot of things about life and your existence in this world. I think the last night we sit together, we talk about a lot of things, a lot of philosophy come to our mind, and it's a beautiful discussion under the sky. And we end our trip like that, and the next day we say bye, and we think that our path will definitely cross again someday somewhere in the world. But yes, as the Buddhist beliefs say, that we all are connected, our souls are connected. So once we get the connection, we live through it. I mean, it's the physical appearance is just a thing we see, but the feel we keep with us, and it remain with us till the time we are living in this world. Thank you so much. Rob, I'm ready to take a question, though we don't have time.
All right. We do have time for just a few questions. So if you do have them, please remember that you can submit them in the question field in your control panel. So Arpita, when is the New Year in Nepal? And is there ever a chance that we would be able to experience that while we're there?
So the new year happens in April. So every like it's 14th. So there is actually, you know, the Nepal calendar, or even for us, the calendar things comes with the different position of the stars and moons. So the time can be changed a bit, but it will happen within like 13, 14, or 15 of the year.
Great, thank you. So,
Yeah.
do people ever
April.
have? I'm sorry.
April. I mean, it's the month of April. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So, could you recommend the best time of year to go on this trip?
So the thing is, every year or every time or the season, it's definitely unique uh, because of the seasonal changes. But for your comfort and experiencing the thing, I think like December to March would be very good.
Great, thank you. Do people ever have problems with the walking at such high altitudes?
Till date, it never happened. And Rob, you know, the last trip, I mean, in April, the last trip we did is the fastest NHA group we had in our, like the hiking. We could finish it in only 4 hours, 4.5 hours, the entire, like going up and coming down. And we have like amazing enthusiastic people with us, and everybody, that's why I say that everybody has a question that whether they will be able to do it or not, but at the end they could finish it. And it's definitely depending on your physical abilities, but I think because we don't have any rush, like you have to be quick at this time, we have to reach there, all these things are not there. So it's all up to your way or your effort, or comfort when you are climbing. So I don't think it will be any problem. But if somebody has problem with knees, that person might have little difficulty while climbing down, because you have to give a little pressure on your knees. That's it. Otherwise, no problem at all.
Thank you for covering that. So, is the Bhutan part of the trip more about culture and scenery, or is there a significant wildlife aspect to it as well?
So for Bhutan, it's more about the culture, tradition, and the scenic beauty of it, and bird life. Definitely, we see a lot of birds, but animals only when we go in the Takin sanctuary. We get to see some barking deer, and if the Takins are closed, then we will be able to see Takin. Otherwise, there are no such wildlife thing. But Bhutan, because we cover a lot of wildlife in Chitwan in Nepal, it's like more and more wildlife part. And Bhutan is more like the cultural. But I would definitely want to mention one thing, Rob, that Bhutan is a place. It's more than the culture. I think is the spiritual. It's not the religious part, but it's spiritually. It is a very high value place. So that gives you a lot of like fresh thoughts when you are living your life. So I mean, I don't know, I'm getting little philosophical thing, but this is not my words. This all I have heard from the guest who had been to Bhutan, because of course they sign up for the wildlife, but when they come to Bhutan and when they stay there, the peacefulness of that country actually, I think, gives a lot of spiritual energy to the people. So yes.
Great, thank you for that wonderful answer. So let's talk about going into the temple for just a second. Now, if going in, am I only wearing my socks, or can I bring a slipper or something like that to put on when I'm inside?
No, you can keep your socks on, but no slippers or no shoes are allowed. And they are
But
so clean. I mean, even if you are stepping there, you would understand that it's even I mean, it is very clean. So you really don't need your shoes there. But socks are fine. But shoes you cannot have. No slippers as well.
can we use a camera inside, or do we have to leave those outside as well?
In many places, both in Nepal and Bhutan, in quite a few places, we are not allowed to take pictures inside.
Great. Thank
In
you for
fact,
your.
Inside means I'm talking about the inside the monastery, like outside the monastery and everything fine, where the idols or where they have their offerings and these things are kept. Those places are not allowed.
Got it. Thank you for addressing that. Unfortunately, that is going to be the last.
Sorry, Rob. Sorry, Rob. One thing I want to add. This is not for any religious reason for what they don't allow like photography. The main reason what is all because there are a lot of things made out of gold and other precious stones, and that's the reason why they want to keep it intact and stuff. That's the reason why they don't encourage photography inside.
Perfect. Thank you for providing those extra details. And thank you for taking the time to present for us. Unfortunately, that is the last question that we do have time for. So I'm going to throw it back to you for some closing comments.
Uh, thank you so much, Rob, and thank you everyone for being here. And trust me, I don't know how to say it, but this 1 hour Nepal, Bhutan cannot be covered. I mean, the time I talk, the time I feel, and the time you be there, it's completely different. I mean, whatever I said, it's just 1 or 2% of it. The 98 to 99% what you realize, what you feel, what you see is when you be there. So it's so difficult to cover up everything. But I hope someday we will see each other. Someday you will just come here and see the place and just find it out yourself. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And I'd also like to thank everyone who tuned in today. Now, if you're interested in information on how you can travel with NatHab, please give us a call at the number on your screen, or you can send us an email at info@nathab.com. Our adventure specialists are happy to help you out. Join us tomorrow for our next Daily Dose of Nature. You can check out this week's lineup, including registration links, on our website at nathab.com/webinars. We did record today's presentation, and we will have the replay available on our website soon. With that, I will conclude the webinar. Goodbye, everybody. We will see you next time.